to episode 460 of the AM/PM podcast. This week we're talking TikTok Shop, what it takes to actually deal with affiliates and creators, and how to get started if you haven't even started. How do you get those first views or those first buys going? Some of the tactics that people are using behind the scenes, kind of like the old days of Amazon. We got Tommy Lynch from Cult Content on, and that's what we're going to be discussing. He's got an interesting story I think you're going to like, especially one about a little school bus. So enjoy this episode with Tommy Lynch.
Welcome to the AM/PM podcast. Welcome to the AM/PM podcast, where we explore opportunities in e-commerce.
We dream big and we discover what's working right now.
Plus, this is the podcast where money never sleeps, working around the clock in the AM and the PM.
Are you ready for today's episode?
I said, are you ready? Let's do this. Here's your host, Kevin King. Kevin King.
Tommy Lynch, how you doing, man? Good to have you on the AM/PM podcast. How's it going?
Doing good, Kevin. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you bringing me on.
So, for people that don't know, what's your story, man? How long you been doing this e-commerce stuff?
So, I guess I've been in e-commerce. I mean, if you count when I was a youngin', I guess probably like a decade. So when I was 15, I started a pallet furniture business, and so you'll actually see like I built that headboard. This is like my bed frame. It's all built out of recycled shipping pallets. And so when I was 15, wow. I would take apart these pallets and I would sell them at the farmer's market. And then I would also sell them on my website. And then from there, I got into like print on demand, Etsy shop. I had that going for a little bit. And then it wasn't until after I graduated graduated high school, I moved into a school bus that a friend and I had bought, and I needed like a job that I could do from the road. So I was like, I'll become like a content creator, marketer, sort of freelancer. And so I was doing that for a while. And then about 2 years ago, I really was like, okay, I need to move in more into like the agency space. And so that's what I'm doing now, is building cult content. So
wait, we got to go back to this. So 15, what are you like? Yeah, I deal with a lot of pallets and I hate getting rid of these things. I get shipments come in. Like I have one of my businesses is calendars. And so it's seasonal. Mm-hmm. So every August, I get tons of freaking pallets coming in, and I store them in the warehouse. And I got to get rid of these damn pallets because it's a public storage unit where I store them. And I don't keep it year round. I just keep it seasonal for that particular business. So these pallets, I'm like, I know you can call somebody and they'll come pick them up or they'll come get them for you. Some people will buy them from you. But I usually just go find a construction site that's like something where they're building a new neighborhood and they got those big, they make those temporary trash cans in the front yards that have wood around them. And I'll just dump them in there. But so at 15, where were you getting the pallets?
I would get them from like my high school, or like it was the either the high school, the middle school. There was like some, I think behind like a Home Goods. I would just find them and
like just discarded ones, or you had an arrangement with them to go pick them up?
Sometimes both. Like they'd be discarded, and then there's also like there was a brewery where I would pick them up from, and I knew one of the guys working at the brewery, and so I'd pick pallets up from there, and then
bring them back. Did you have a shop somewhere, or you doing this at your garage or your parents' house, or where were you making this furniture?
My parents' garage. I would take them apart and like do it in the yard and cut it up with circular saws and all that. And
oh wow,
yeah. And so it was a fun time. It was a fun creative endeavor too, because I was making it and selling it, and that was I don't know. I definitely learned because there were times when I'd be at the farmer's market. And it would be like several weeks straight where I wouldn't make a single dollar. Like I'd make barely enough to cover the fee to be there at like in the market. And learning that at like 15 and learning the patience where it's like, I was there, I was showing up, I was giving it my all, putting my, blood, sweat and tears into this furniture. And then I'd be like barely, making any sales with it. And I'd be like, dang, like that's hard. And it would piss me off. But like, I'm glad I went through that, because then I've learned to like that patience that's really, really required to like make any business work.
So then you said you sold them on Etsy and on other places. So you were shipping these big wood things to people?
Basically, yeah. It was expensive. I remember I got one order through my store. and it was to like North Carolina, and just the shipping on it was like $100 because it was an end table, big, bulky, heavy end table.
Yeah.
And so I ended up not like, sometimes I like wonder like if I were to have stuck with it, like where would I have gone? And I think I would have had to go into like really polished, like super nice high end furniture, still like doing the rustic recycled stuff, but like, and then selling pieces for like, you know, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 to like interior designers or that kind of thing.
So during this whole process, you sold one unit?
Online I did. I sold
online,
more
okay.
at the farmer's market. And
Okay.
so I'd be there sitting there all day, every weekend selling it. But
Oh, cool. So then you said next when you graduated high school, you went and lived in a bus? Like
I did. I lived,
y'all
so
converted a bus, like these guys that convert vans to like these travel around, y'all converted an old school bus to like a little apartment or something?
basically, yeah. So when I was, cause I was in high school during COVID. And so
Okay.
COVID came my junior year of high school, and they basically canceled school. And so a friend and I, we were out messing around in the middle school parking lot one evening, as you do. And we were looking at these buses, and we're like, dang, like, I wonder how much you could get a school bus for. And so we looked it up that night, and it was like, they're selling like these used school buses for like a couple $1,000s. And so
Really?
then that got the cogs turning. I was like, okay, we could, like, if we both get jobs working at the Safeway and save up some money and buy a school bus, like we could actually do this in a couple months. And so then that's what we ended up doing. And we got a bus for $3,000, 35-foot school bus. And then
Old yellow school bus. This is one of those old yellow like
yeah.
school buses that said something XYZ
Mm-hmm.
ISD on the side or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was Loudoun County Public Schools, and we bought this old bus. And when we had it, like, there's still stuff in there. Like if you reach between like the cracks between some of like the storage spots, like you'll find like notes that like kids had left for like the bus driver like a decade ago, like 2 decades ago. How, who knows how long. But it's funny. And so we got that, and then
You strip out all the seats and everything?
took out all the seats, put solar panels on it, put a TV in there, an Xbox 360, bed, all the good stuff. And so that was the spot, like that was the hangout spot during, senior year. And
Did you
then
drive this bus around the country, or did you just stay in one spot basically, and that was your apartment?
so I'd actually been parking it in the middle school parking lot because my parents' house backs up to this middle school, and
Oh, okay.
the same middle school I went to. So I parked the bus there. And when it wasn't painted, it was great because, like, no one would hassle us because it looked like a yellow school bus in the school parking lot. Like, it just sort of belonged there. But then eventually, like, we had to move it. There's a funny story I have, I guess, is like one afternoon, my buddy and I were hanging out, and I got a call, and someone had left a voicemail, and I'm like listening to the voicemail, and it's like a police officer had left this voicemail on accident. Like it was like some kind of butt dial almost, because I'd left my phone number on the window of the bus. And so he's calling. He's, oh yeah, there's a bunch of freaks out here. We're gonna have to call the tow truck, and we're gonna get this bus out of here. And I was like, oh, like I gotta go. So I like run over to the middle school, and they sit me down. And so there's like 2 school security officers and 2 Fairfax County police officers, and they're like telling me like, oh, we got a call. Someone reported seeing a naked person, and like, cause I'd come back from a camping trip, and so like my shirt was dirty. I had like no shirt on at the time, and so like someone had made a call and was like, oh, there's like some creep in the middle school parking lot. and so I show up, and I'm like, no, like, and they sat me down. They were like gonna arrest me, be like, oh, you can't like go on school property anymore, all this stuff. And so I was like, okay, it's like if I'm getting banned from all school property, like, do I still go to high school? And they were like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, I go to Edison High School, like just down the road. Like, you can't ban me from all school property. And then they were like, oh, okay. And so eventually, and I was also, when I was in middle school, I was like friends with the, I guess, principal, because I ran like this 4-H club. And so they ended up calling the middle school principal at the time, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Tommy, he's cool. He can park the bus there." And so, so hey, let's go. So,
oh man! So the bus, were you sleeping in it, or were you still sleeping at your parents' house?
I was sleeping at my parents' house at the time. It was like a party place. Yeah, just sort of a kickback spot. Take it camping, that kind of thing. And then, a year or two goes by. I work a couple of jobs, some sales jobs. I'm like, I want to do something else. I tried to launch a party bus business. So I figured I have the bus. So I bought my friend's half of the bus because we had split it. And so then I was going to launch this party bus business where I, pick up business groups and take them to wineries or, do whatever, wedding parties. But I was way too young to actually get insured. No one wanted to insure a 19-year-old with a party bus.
That can't even drink.
Yeah.
A party bus around. Can't legally drink.
Yeah. And I wasn't even old enough to get my, interstate CDL. And so there was that challenge too. And so then I was like, okay, can't get insured. I guess I'll just live in the bus, travel around, and make TikTok videos for businesses. And that's when I got started into the, TikTok space.
And so where were you based? Where was the middle school? Was that California or somewhere else? That
was Virginia.
Virginia.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So then you headed out of Virginia, and would you do around the U.S. or just the Northeast, or what?
Yeah, I did. I hit 35 states, and so I went north first, did all the Northeast, then I went through the Midwest, then the Western states. I ended up sort of crash landing in L.A., where a buddy of mine from high school was living at the time, and he was pursuing a career as a YouTuber. Now he actually is a YouTuber. He's got 1.5 million subscribers, and he flies around the world making videos. And so I ended up sort of staying with him for another 6 months, and then I took the bus back out here. Where I am now.
So as you're traveling on the bus, you're like, I'm trying to follow the mindsets. You're like, I got to make a little bit of money here. So you're going online, and you're posting videos about your bus lifestyle, and here I am in front of the Grand Canyon, here I am in front of whatever, and then some people start saying hey, will you make videos for us, or did you go out and start using that as proof, hey, I'm doing these videos, would you like to advertise, or like me do them for you? Walk me through how that process worked.
So I had some business connections when I left. So I was in because I was doing this credit card processing sales job, and I was in a BNI, Business Networking International, if you're familiar with that. It's a lot of home services and that kind of stuff. And I had made sort of friends with this realtor coach, and he would get on calls. And so it started as just me chopping up his content and, making videos out of that, adding subtitles, music, whatever.
Using CapCut or Premiere?
I was Premiere Pro, doing it all on Premiere. And so I started with him, and he was paying me $1,000 a month, and I was living in the bus, and I would do that. And then I would also make my own content, about living in the bus and traveling and whatever. And then I didn't really get more. Once I got to LA, then I was like, okay, let me settle down. Let me get some more clients, figure out more on the business side. And I was still, a freelancer, content creator. But that's when I got more involved with product brands and that kind of stuff. And that was
after when you met your buddy and saw what he was doing, he kind of inspired you or helped kind of send you in the right direction.
Pretty much.
Give you a hand there.
Yeah. He actually handed off one of my first real clients. He was working for this brand called Passion Tree. It's a hard seltzer brand in California, I think a couple other states. And he had been making content for them, no real results, but they were paying him a good little bit. And he wanted to focus on YouTube. And so he was like, you can take over this Passion Tree brand. And so I started doing stuff for them, got them 10 million views or something like that, 10,000 followers. And that was one of my first real, I'm actually doing this for brands. So
are you still doing stuff for them today, or has it moved on?
No. So they hired a different ginger. It's messed up. They had someone internal start making content. And so when I really started so I've generated 50 million views for brands, and that was all me as a content creator. And so I came into this like space from a marketing angle, from like a content angle. How do we get product brands? And that was all before TikTok Shop had even rolled out. And so then, as time went on, it sort of changed. So I started just making content for brands. I had another client called the New Calendar. It was a calendar with 9 days a week. Yeah,
okay.
It's like really
right.
my every time I talk about it with my dad, he says it's like trying to sell like a car with square wheels, because it's like it's this whole new system of like you divide time differently. 365 can only be divided by 7, or I think it's like, I don't know. I forget how the math works out, but basically it's a calendar that divides time evenly is the idea. And so I got them again, like another maybe 20 million views, and like nothing crazy in sales, like 20,000 in sales, I think. And so I work with them.
Yeah, the view is probably more just curiosity. People, what the hell is this? Then they are going to be like, "Yep, I'm in. I believe there's a 9-day week."
It was honestly like a funny product for TikTok. I think like because it was such like a unique thing, it got a lot of engagement. It got a lot of comments, a lot of people being like, "Oh, that's so stupid. Like no one's ever going to use a 9-day week calendar," like that kind of thing.
Is that company still around, or are they
not really? And it was like it was my mom's cousin's husband, and so I'd actually known about this calendar since I was like 15 years old or something. He'd been working on it. It was like his brainchild, and but I don't think he's done much with it recently.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
Thinking about selling on TikTok Shop? Or maybe you are already in it and you're ready to scale. Unlock all of Helium 10's brand new TikTok Shop tools with our Diamond Plan. Everything from bulk Amazon to TikTok listing conversions to instant Amazon MCF fulfillment. Best of all, you use the code TT10 to get 10% off Diamond for 6 months, even if you've used a coupon before. So go ahead and upgrade and let Helium 10 do all the heavy lifting for you so you can focus on what really matters. For more info on our new TikTok Shop offerings, visit h10.me/TikTok. I'll see you there.
Right. So how does it work when you go to a brand? When you were doing this, would you just have a flat rate and say, "Hey, my rate's $1,000 a month, or it's $500 a video, or it's X amount plus a percentage of sales"? What was your methodology back when you were doing that?
So
or are you just like, I don't care, I need some mac and cheese and some diesel for the bus.
That was more how it went. Usually it would be per video, and so I was doing 20 videos a month for the New Calendar, and then I was doing I would get deals on Upwork too, because I was still freelancing, and so I'd find someone and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I can make videos about your whatever product," and it'll be $100 a video. And I sort of for a little while I was like, I gassed myself up because I got to the point where I was charging like between like $150 to $200 a video, and then I found a client, the Infinity Hoop. And so they reached out to me on Upwork, and this was like my first time working with like a big brand, and they did, they're a 7-figure brand, actually 8 figures. They had done like $13 million in sales the first year that I worked with them, and they wanted me to, same thing, making a bunch of content, and I was doing like 3 videos a day for them. And that's when I realized, because like the guy, Leo Icciano, he sort of showed me like what he had going on, and like that opened my eyes as to like what was possible with TikTok Shop, and like all the different levers, how important that affiliate piece is. And then from there I was like, okay, let me find a way to provide more value than I am currently.
So are these videos playing on your channel or on his channel or on both?
On his, yeah. So it was always brand content.
Ads behind it? Okay.
Yeah. It was always brand content. I've never actually been an affiliate. Like I don't have like a TikTok affiliate account. I was right from the get-go, I was posting, like creating content that for brand pages.
Okay. And so you did that, and then what was different about the TikTok? So when you said it opened your eyes to TikTok Shop, you didn't realize how much money could be made selling products off of the videos, or what was it that opened your eyes there?
Well, it was more like I didn't realize what the path forward looked like and how to really utilize like the TikTok ecosystem, if that makes sense. Because I was
Okay.
coming from a spot of like, oh, like I know how to make videos and I can make viral videos. Like I know how to make content. Like let me just keep making content. Um, and I had to really learn that although content is king and content is currency, all that, it's like it's not just a matter of content. You have to have affiliates. You should be running paid ads. There's a lot more that goes into strategy, especially launching on TikTok Shop, than just content.
And you have to have a product that people want too. You look at the 9 day
Yeah,
calendar, or 9 week day a week, whatever it's called. But and you said you got what 50 million views or 20 million views or whatever it was, some crazy number of views, and they sold $20,000 worth.
yeah,
So there's that's where a lot of it's not just about the virality. That's everybody's like, I want to go viral, I want to go viral. Sometimes you don't want to go viral because actually going after these smaller niches where there's product market fit is actually better than something that
yeah,
goes viral and everybody's just commenting like, this is crazy, or look at his hair, he needs to get a haircut, or whatever stupid stuff they're putting in there. Um, so that's an important aspect that I think a lot of sellers miss, or don't quite understand, is
absolutely.
that they're always looking for the Kim Kardashians or the big people that can make it go viral, and that's not necessarily what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's not. You have to have a holistic approach because there's something to be said about going viral. There's something to be said about having 1 million people view your product, and then however many product page views you get, and then like there is going viral is generally a good thing, right? And but that is something that I had to learn, where it's like that doesn't mean that you're just going to have an insane number of conversions. You have to have content for every sort of step of that funnel. Like you have to have videos that can go viral, but you also have to have videos that are like going to perform in ads and are going to drive conversions and are tailored to actually, convert at like the bottom of the funnel.
What do you see that helps make something go viral? And all the viral videos that you've done, is it just pot luck and just throwing enough videos out there, or is there something that you do that kind of juices the algorithm that gives it a much better chance of going viral? Or is it something that's off the wall where like people are commenting, and because there's so much comments and engagement that helps it go? What are you seeing that helps with that?
So, I mean, generally to go viral, there's it's really like a couple of key metrics, right? Number one, it's like the viewer retention. How much are people actually watching the video? Because if they're swiping away after like a hook, if the hook doesn't catch them, they don't watch the video. If they're like TikTok's not going to push it. Now,
Explain
if
to
you
those listening that might not know what a hook is. I mean, I know,
okay,
but just for those
yeah.
listening, what's a hook or a way to set up a video?
So you have to think when you're thinking about content and you're thinking about TikToks and short form content, especially, right? There's people are just scrolling, and if they don't stop to watch your video, then your video won't get pushed out. So they're just scrolling, and within the first 3 seconds, they're deciding, am I going to keep watching this video or am I going to scroll to the next one? And if you don't give them a reason to keep watching within that first 3 seconds, they're probably going to scroll to the next one. And so that's ultimately that's the first thing that you have to do is what is your hook? What reason are you giving the viewer to keep watching? From there, you need to deliver on that and continuously deliver on that. So you hook them, right? And when I'm talking about this in the context of a product, right, usually we want to go viral within a certain niche, right? It's like I'm looking to reach middle-aged men who have blood flow issues, whatever. And so like we're going to have a hook that drives to the emotionality of that and get someone who is experiencing those problems to stop scrolling. And then part of that is visual. So like one of the affiliates that I have, he's selling this product. It's capsules, but like he starts the video with like a syringe like in his butt, and he's like got his half his pants pulled down, because like that's going to stop someone and be like, oh, what am I watching, right? It gives them some questions. Then from there, you're talking about like the sort of, depending on how viral you're trying to go and what you're actually trying to do. Like I generally think it's good to go from there, like that hook into the problem that the product is solving. So if it's blood flow, like maybe you're talking about, like ED not performing in the bedroom, or you're talking about, like whatever that problem is, and then you just structure that to go right into the solution of those.
So the way he structures that with a needle is that stops them, because people are like, what the heck, like you said. And
Yeah.
then he takes that like, yeah, needles are gross. You don't need to do that. I've got these capsules. You don't ever have to punch the needle. So you segue or use that.
Yeah.
That's what you're kind of talking about. We're just
Yeah,
right.
exactly. So it has to be, you have to have a video that makes sense from start to finish. And like, you sort of have to hold the hand of the viewer from the beginning of the video to like really get them to understand like exactly what it is. And then also it needs to be disruptive. It needs to be scroll stopping. It needs to be eye catching. It needs to be, at times controversial. And thing like if you have a video and there's just something to just generate comments that sparks it, that will really help, because I've seen that a lot of the times that will correlate with a video going viral is people start commenting. And once people start commenting, then, there's more incentive for people to keep commenting, because there's already engagement. People are replying to each other's messages. And then from there, it's like you've got sort of a method to go viral, just organically with that.
Now, are you just doing TikTok, or are you also doing like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and that kind of stuff, or just primarily your focus is TikTok?
So my focus has always been TikTok, and so now I'm doing full service management. So I run a TSP, a TikTok Shop Partner Agency. So I went through TikTok's sort of course that they have, and I meet with TikTok twice a week, and big group setting, big group calls. And so a TSP has sort of 5 core pillars, I guess. And so there's short video management, there's affiliate management, there's shop operations and management, then there's paid media and live video services. And so as a TSP, I provide services for all of those pillars for clients that are trying to launch on TikTok Shop.
So this is your own company, or it's in conjunction with TikTok?
This is my own company. Yeah.
Okay. So the meetings with TikTok are just to keep you up to date on the latest stuff, and where you can ask questions about stuff. But then you got your own team, or you're jobbing out to people that are doing these 5 different core services.
Exactly. Yeah. So the meetings with TikTok are sort of big group calls, educational calls. There's one meeting a week that we have that's like people will come and give presentations, and they'll be presenting on the latest software to use, or the different strategies that are working for them, or fulfilled by TikTok, or whatever it is. And then there's one call a week that's like office hours, and so I can come with my questions, and we can sort of all collaborate as an industry almost.
And does TikTok pay you for this, or just a privilege for you to help keep your agency stuff on the cutting edge?
Yeah. So TikTok does it all. It's just a privilege that I get to use that, and it's all on Lark too. If you're familiar with Lark.
Yeah, it's an app. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's owned by ByteDance, and so it's
right.
and so they want all the TikTok people in there using it, and it's all sort of contained within that ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like Alibaba has their own little app ecosystem too. The Chinese like to control everything. They don't want any outside stuff, or someone's coming in and scraping it. They want to have that complete control. So yeah, that makes sense. So when did the agency start?
Basically the start of 2023.
Okay.
And so
you've been doing about 2.5 years.
Yeah, and it's my LLC. I've been doing it. I mean, because I've been in the business, and it's been a dream of mine for a long time. And then recently, and I'm still in that sort of building phase, but like things have been coming together in a beautiful, beautiful way. So I'm excited to just keep going.
So you're working mostly with smaller, like you were at an Amazon seller event. Was that your first event to go to, or you been to others, or um, were you there like just checking out the scene, or hopefully recruiting clients, or what was your goal there?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure at first. It's sort of funny. Like the first event that I went to for cult content was Expo West, the Natural Products Expo,
Hmm.
and and I just happened to be sort of in the right place. I'd gotten flown out for a YouTube video, and I was hiking in Death Valley looking for a crashed airplane. And I get back to the apartment in North Hollywood, and I get a message in that Lark group with like all the TikTok shop people, and this was when I had like just become an official TSP, and they were like, "Oh, if anyone's around California, you've got to go to the Natural Products Expo." And so I went there, and then there was also an invite to the MDS um, like event, and because they had like a dinner out there at the same time. And so I went to all that. I met some of the people out there, and then a month goes by, and everyone's like, "Oh, you got to go out to Vegas. Like, you got to go to Hit Prosper and Shop Talk and MDS." And I'm like, "Well, guess I got to do it." So I dropped everything and flew out there, and with no real goal other than like to just be there, I guess. And so I learned a lot. Ton of brilliant people that I got connected with. Got connected with you, and then I did, a lot of people, potential clients too, that were out there. So
So you went to both MDS and Prosper while you were out there. So
mhm.
that was your first exposure to like this Amazon kind of world,
Yeah,
really, right? So how was it like overwhelming, or was it like, holy cow, there's a lot going on here?
it was
Or was it like,
overwhelming. It
yeah?
was there was I remember, I think like once I got back, I even like made a LinkedIn post about this. I was like, because when I guess flew out there, I was thinking, I was sort of like had a like my ego got crushed while I was out there, because I was like thinking, okay, like I know TikTok, I know TikTok Shop, I know all this stuff, and then I'm meeting all these people who like they've just, I mean, part of it's that they've been in the industry for longer and whatever, but like just brilliant, brilliant people, and I'm like, dang, like I was low key getting humbled. And, and so I was a little bit overwhelmed, especially like a couple days into it. And Vegas just takes everything out of you. I don't know like what it is, but like if you're just in Vegas for too long, then like it just sort of drains you. And so like by the second or third day, I was like, wow, I need to like put my head down and just like get to work, like use what I'm learning to deliver. So
So you went to some of the talks like Michelle Barnum Smith or someone like that talking about TikTok and
mhm,
stuff. Um, yeah, there's several of them there. Um,
yeah.
that's so. What coming back out of that? What did you take out of that, or have you implemented anything from what you learned there, or whether that be something actually for your clients, or that just something your way of thinking, or something that what was the end result now that you're back and be able to digest what you experienced there?
Yeah. I guess there's there are so many founders, so many brilliant people, so many people all different levels. Part of it is connection. Like I think for a long time I had been sort of just like, oh, I can do this on my own. I can make the videos go viral. I can scale my agency by myself. And it's like that's not how that works. And I think I sort of had, and I sort of knew that, but then I also didn't really know like where to find people, where to find other people who are also running a TikTok shop agency, or in the industry. And then I think that was really one of like the biggest things that like it revealed to me was like, no, like there's people like you can talk to, you can have conversations that will like change your life in a room, and you can be in a room full of people that you can have those conversations with. Um, so that was really like the biggest thing for me, and then also just sort of building these connections with people, and really like it's more than just business,
Hmm.
like it's real human connection and like so many driven people trying to achieve.
It's your type of people. It's people that understand and they get you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're doing similar things, or they're in similar boats, or they've been through some of the same ups and downs that you might have been through.
Yeah.
That's that's an important aspect of it. So your clients now, what's the name of the agency?
Cult content.
Cold Content.
Cult
Now, why do you
content, like
call
a cult following.
Cult, CULT.
Yeah.
So why that name? Does that name, like, some people are like, oh, what's this, like some guy that's the next Kevorkian or something, or what's the next cult leader, or why the name Cult Content?
So I've always been into like the esoteric, type of stuff. I think you're on TikTok Shop, you need affiliates, you need your own cult, essentially, to succeed on TikTok. You need affiliates who are dedicated to understanding your product, dedicated to posting, right? And then ultimately, too, you could think of like your customers as an extension of your cult. I think that it fits sort of the TikTok social commerce world, because you have to invest so much in like education, and it's not about like, it's not as transactional. Like if I was an Amazon agency, and I was like, oh, like we're gonna rank you, like I would have a different name. But like to succeed on TikTok, you need it to be like authentic, and you need people to really genuinely understand and share the same values as like the product or like the brand, like what that represents. Like you want people and affiliates to really double down and like be passionate about that. Like you don't want affiliates who are just gonna like, unbox the product and be like, oh, like whatever, like maybe this works, maybe it doesn't, and that's their video for you. You want people who are like in it. They're like passionate. A member of your cult. Yeah.
Yeah, they're passionate and all working towards a cause or something.
Yeah.
So are you still doing videos now in cult content yourself, or do you have like a team of people, affiliates that are other creators that kind of you send a lot of this jobs off to?
Yeah. So generally the way that it works is a client will come in and we set up a budget, for them for affiliate retainers and that kind of thing. And then we set them up also with affiliate outreach tools. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into the strategy. But no, I'm not the one making the videos. I'm more the one finding affiliates. And so I have a cult content Discord server that's now got close to 100 members, and affiliates are in there, and they'll have me like review their content. And so I'll sort of coach up affiliates and that kind of thing. But generally it's more equipping brands with the tools and the resources to find affiliates, and then, actually finding the affiliates and hiring them to create content.
Are you finding them through software tools or just personal relationships and they're referring each other? Because I think I saw something, there's like 1.5 million people in the United States trying to make a living being a creator right now. It's every young kid doesn't want to be a doctor or a fireman or an astronaut anymore. They want to be a creator. Yeah. And most of them are not making much money. I mean, you do have the ones that do very well, but the vast majority, something like 98%, make less than 10 grand a year off of it. So, and it's so competitive. You go on to TikTok Shop into their portal, and it's like people are getting sometimes hundreds, if not thousands, of emails a day of people reaching out to them. You got agencies, you got all these different tools, and all these companies that have propped up to help place people. It's both it's competitive, and there's a lot of noise. So how do you stand out? How do you recruit, or what do you do to get these 100+ people that are on the Discord? I'm assuming you probably have a few more than that just aren't on the Discord.
Yeah. I mean, we've got thousands. Generally, if you want engagement, what I've seen works is offering some kind of higher incentive, whether that's basically saying, hey, and we also have the opportunity to earn a retainer or a pay-per-video deal. Join this Discord and let's get to work. That kind of thing. The way that I see affiliates and I guess like this whole sort of ecosystem, right? Because it is incredibly competitive. And as an agency, you have to balance a lot, right? You have to balance the client, and they're trying to obviously sell as much product for the lowest, cost to acquire that business. And then you've got the affiliates, right? And you have the affiliates that are having their issues where a lot of them, maybe they're new, they just don't know how the game works and what type of content they should be making and that kind of thing. You've got people who are more established, but they still have super fluctuating, income. And so, because as an affiliate, you might make, $15,000 one month and $2,000 the next, or, it's not a stable income. And so you have to really try to understand the goals of each affiliate. And I like to meet with them, talk face to face, and be like, hey, like, what are you really trying to do? What are your goals? How can I help you? And if the client has budget for retainers, and I think that an affiliate is a good fit, and they're going to do a good job, make good content, especially if they have sort of a proven track record of driving sales. And that's one way that, I can help them out. And so it's really just sort of like navigating all these different relationships with affiliates and clients, and figuring out a way to make it work for everyone.
How do you screen them? Because a lot of people, I can send my products to anybody, and anybody can almost create a video. I mean, some people are better at editing or lighting or whatever, but a lot of times it takes a salesman. I mean, you got to actually know sales and marketing and how to trigger people into buying. I mean, if you got a hot trending product, anybody can almost sell that. But if I'm trying to sell something that's maybe not so hot and trending, but convince people to do it, what do you look for in these creators that actually shows you that they can sell? Is it a track record on Kalo data, where but that means you're eliminating the new people that might actually be good, or they don't get a chance? Or how do you filter them? Like, all right, you look like you're good on camera and you can actually sell.
Right. So the two main things that you look at, and this is partially just because this is what TikTok presents to you, right? Before a product sample goes out, unless it's set to auto approve, you have to approve the product samples. And so you're looking at the post rate, and you're looking at the gross metric or gross merchandise value, the GMV. And so if an affiliate has over $1,000 in GMV, they're probably going to be like, okay, like maybe I can actually take this a little bit more seriously, opposed to someone who has no GMV. They might just be in it for the product sample. Obviously, someone with, $80,000 in GMV over the last 30 days, you might have to, pay some money as well to get the content going. But that's really your best bet, is like, okay, have you generated revenue before? There are affiliates, who don't have as much GMV, but you meet with them and you get a feel for, honestly, it's sort of like an intellect thing, right? Where it's like, okay, you know how to make content, you're coachable. Like, I can tell that you match the ICP of what the client's looking for in a customer. So yeah, there's definitely a lot that you can look for in an affiliate to make it work. But ultimately too, it just comes back to the numbers. Like, we're going to pay the affiliates who make us the most money, and we're, going to try to train anyone and get them to become that affiliate as well, because they have to have that buy-in.
What do you do to set expectations of the client? Sometimes the clients will come in and they're like, they want a magic pill. They want, like, oh, make this, every video should go viral. Every video should make me X amount of money. What do you do to set the expectations on clients?
Yeah, so I have a profitability calculator that I use, and like generally too, TikTok is an investment, right? You're buying into the platform, you're buying into like the whole ecosystem, and you have to understand that it is a long-term game, because there's so much top of funnel awareness that comes with TikTok as a platform. And it is expensive. And so I do have to set that expectation. As well as, like, there's certain clients that it just wouldn't be good for, right? Like, if you don't have the finances to really invest in TikTok and to make it work, then don't do it. But generally, too, like, you have to explain to them in some way that there is a level of like randomness to this, where you in some ways are waiting for a video to go viral, or waiting for some ads to start converting to the point where they can scale. And we can put all of the strategy behind it, and we can figure out so much of like what needs to be done to like make that happen. But at a certain point, we are still just waiting for it to happen. And then once it goes, having all the systems in place to just keep it going. That's sort of the methodology there. But in terms of managing expectations, it's just sort of like, you got to keep it real, gotta like, if I don't want anyone to think that like, oh, I'm going to sign up with cool content and first month I'm going to make $50,000, because that's just, unless we're doing a lot, then we're not pulling those kind of numbers right out the gate,
So what makes cult content better than somebody else? If I'm looking for someone to help me out, I'm a seller listening to this on an AMPM podcast, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get into this TikTok, but I don't have time, or I don't want to mess with it. Just let someone do it. Why should they consider you guys over about 2 million other possibilities out there? I'm exaggerating. There's not 2 million, but a lot of other possibilities.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it comes down to just like, I eat, sleep, and breathe TikTok. And I know a lot of people do that, but like, I'm very transparent. Like, I will always sort of say how it is with a client. I will always be as clear as possible. I'll always, like, if it's not a right fit, I'll let them know. Like, I think what makes cult content different is just that part of it is just my experience in, like, I've been breathing this, like, it has been my life for like, so for a while. And it's like, honestly, I've built my brain to make it, make cult content like be what it is. And I'm just very committed to it working for my clients as well. Like, there's not like, all of my clients I consider almost like friends, sort of like getting back to what we were saying about how going out to like Prosper, you've got like there's an MDS, you form this connection, and I'm big on that. Like, I'm big on fulfilling the mission of my clients. Like, if you've got a supplement that you think really, really helps people and you're passionate about that, then like, when you work with cult content, your mission becomes our mission. And like, we are like that's why I'm doing it. Like, that's why we're in it,
What's your creative process like? So I'm a client with a supplement, and I come to you and say, hey, I want you to take care of this for me, Tommy. Here's my creatine powder. What do you do next?
So, I mean, first we have to find the differentiators of the product between like what it, there's a million other creatine products out there. So like, what is it about this creatine that is actually, going to get people to buy? And like, who is the client looking for? Like, some clients, they know exactly who their core customer is. And they can share that with me, and that's always nice. But if not, like, that's sort of what I'm going to be thinking about, is like, who is it that like this is actually solving problems for, and how do we reach that person? Because if you're not doing that as like your first step, then everything else can just be sort of pointless. And so that's sort of like where that first step comes in. And then from there, it's like, it becomes about, content and angles and hooks. And I'm not like as involved in making the videos anymore. And a lot of it is going to be like, honestly, if it's for like a brand new client and I'm trying to get them launched as fast as possible, I'll use ChatGPT for scripting and just finding some of that, like those angles that are going to work. And then from there, I take that and we create a whole bunch of scripts, and we distribute those to affiliates, and put those in a system where they can be used by affiliates so that they can leverage that content or those scripts and those angles. So
how much should someone be willing to spend? Like, say it's not a big company, they're like, I want to try this out, and I just want to see, if my product fits on the TikTok, and if we can make this work. Is this a couple $1,000s? Is it $5,000 by the time you pay your agency's fees, the affiliates, any kind of creative stuff that's got to be created, and maybe even put a little bit of advertising behind the ones that work? What am I looking at to kind of just do a solid little test on not on a big budget?
Right. Generally, you'd be looking at spending like 10 grand a month after everything's said and done. Product samples, shipping, affiliate retainers. I like to do a product launch campaign as well. So I'll use a platform like Celico, or if a client has like a control over their distribution, then I'll like to literally place the initial orders, so that, because that's one of the first things that a customer or an affiliate sees with a product is how many units have been sold. So there's a lot that goes into the launch, and generally you're looking at spending anywhere between like 7 to 10 grand a month after all is said and done.
And then that includes the cost of the product samples that you're giving out, and the shipping and everything.
Yeah.
And that includes your agency's fees, because I'm basically, if I'm the client, I'm paying you, then you're paying the affiliates their commission. You're negotiating the commissions with the affiliates, and you're taking a little Scooby snack off the top, or however that works, right?
Yeah, we charge an agency fee, and so then we charge an agency and a percentage typically, and then we have a budget for affiliate retainers, and so we'll go through that with the client and be like, hey, this is what we're going to set. We're going to spend $2,000 or whatever it is on affiliate budgets or affiliate retainers or pay-per-video deals. But that wouldn't
include Performance Max, or whatever they call it, or Spark Ads.
The GMV Max, yeah. So GMV that's
Max. Performance Max is Google. Yeah, GMV Max.
Yeah, so that wouldn't include GMV Max, and generally too, like I don't like to really start ads. Like if someone was just launching, like we wouldn't be running ads month one. So we're looking more like at running ads once we've already got a good base of content.
Yeah, once you get something proven.
Yeah.
What does Celico do in that process for you?
So Celico is a platform that I use to, they have a TikTok shop launchpad, and essentially what you can do is you can set it up so that they have a list of however, I think like several 100,000 customers who will go to your TikTok shop, and they'll either click on a link that we provide that's like from an affiliate video, or you could do it like right from the shop page. They'll order the product through TikTok shop, and then 40 to 60% of them will leave a review. So Celico facilitates
on TikTok shop.
Yeah. So Celico facilitates that interaction with however many orders you want to go through. And so what that does is you've got now, 50 people order the product. Some of that money that you invested obviously will circle back, through. And you've got people leaving reviews. It's something to get traction started on TikTok Shop. Otherwise,
so it's basically a trust. So when someone sees your affiliate's video, they go to the TikTok shop to buy the product. There's not zero reviews there. There's
exactly.
Is there certain numbers that are magic? Like on Amazon, statistically, people say the magic number is 21. Once you get 21 reviews, people will start believing that it's legit. If there's 3 there and they're all 5-star, people are like, yeah, it's not enough sample size, not enough people. Is there a number on TikTok where you see like you recommend your clients get 20 or 30 or 50 or some number to really help on the conversions?
I haven't heard a number for the reviews, but generally I've heard like $10,000 a month in sales is when people will start to see traction, like things start moving a little bit easier.
So I wonder, like, so how does a new person break in on TikTok? If someone has zero GMV, let's say
Mhm.
me, I'm not selling on TikTok. Let's say all of a sudden I want to be a affiliate on TikTok. Like, hey, I can sell some stuff on TikTok. I've done this for a little bit. I'm an old guy. I know what to do. I've been around the block. I want to get paid. I go up there and I put my listing up on or register on TikTok and all this stuff. I have zero GMV. You said that's a gut feeling. You, if I get on the phone with you, like, all right, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. But a lot of people don't even do that. They just filter them out. So those people, what do they do to get a start? What do they go to Celico and become a buyer so that they actually through their own link or something and like now I got a little bit of GMV or is there a system or someone that's helping these new people kind of get their foot in the door that's
So
out there that's
are you talking
listening
about for as an affiliate, or do you mean
yeah,
like as
as an
someone launching a brand?
both. I mean, I guess it goes both ways because the affiliates also don't want to work with a brand that has zero GMV.
Yeah.
And the brands don't want to work with someone affiliate that has zero. So it goes both ways. So how do you get that initial wheel pumping so people can get going?
Yeah. So that's, I mean, that's where that platform Celico comes in, right? Where it's like you have to have some kind of group buy-in and show like, okay, there's traction behind this product. Both an affiliate needs to see that in order for them to want to work with the product, and the customer needs to see that too in order to like trust it and make that purchase. So if you're not going to use Celico, the other, I guess, method would be to literally place the order yourself and then have your distributor send only one product. I don't know how long this method will work for, because I think, I mean, from what I've heard, like no one's gotten slapped for this. I know that this was a thing that was going on Amazon for a while, and then I guess they had to sort of regulate that. But you can literally just order 100 units on TikTok Shop, and then have your distributor only ship one product, and then from there, at least you've got 100 units sold showing up, and that's sort of a place to start.
So
Um,
basically, the bottom line is people are gaming it a little bit to get going, just like they used to do. I mean, it's common in every industry. I mean, Airbnb when they first launched, they gamed the Reddit system and the referral system. I mean, everybody, it's kind of a known thing.
yeah.
Amazon, you're right. Amazon cracked down on it. But back when back in 2016, when you were still in middle school, I guess, um, you could actually you could get reviews on Amazon. You could give away a product for free, and it was permissible for the person to come and leave the review as long
Mhm.
as they put a disclaimer that said, I received this product in exchange for my honest opinion or something like that.
Yeah.
That became an issue, and Amazon banned that in November of 2016 or October of 2016.
Mm.
And then another industry popped up of search, find, buy, where you would pay agencies. They would see which keywords you need to rank on. They had an audience of people. You would then go and pay them say $15. If it was a supplement, it could be $20, $20 per buy. That was the agency's fee. And then they would get their buyers to go in, search for a certain keyword, scroll up and down, click around a little bit, and then go buy your product off of that keyword. So it got attributed. And then you had to pay the agency for that too. So if it's a $30 product, you're giving $45 for every supplement bottle sold to the agency. Now you're getting some of that back, just like you said, it circles back through and you get, after Amazon's fees, you're going to get half or more of that back, like 20, $25 of that back. So it's still costing you $30 or something per sale. And that's how people were ranking. And then Amazon cracked down on that. And then it became a search, find, buy, and a rebate thing. And that's where the guys at MDS, one of the co-founders of MDS, had a company called Rebate Key. And so they're like, well, rebates have been legal since the dawn of commerce. So if you buy something, I can give you a rebate. We'll make it official. We're not just Amazon. We're Walmart and everywhere else. And that was the way for a while. And then Amazon cracked down on that. And now there's still some now the methodology on Amazon primarily is product feedback. So instead of getting this product in exchange for a review or getting this product and just go search on a keyword, they actually want you to actually get the product, buy the product, actually then give critical not on Amazon, but like to the service provider, you give critical advice. And so you say, oh yeah, I think this is needs to adjust here, or I didn't like this part of it, or whatever. And you give this like you shoot a video of you scrolling around the screen, looking at the listing and all this kind of stuff. And so they're couching it as market research. And so it's you're just putting lipstick on a pig and just changing the way, but it's the same thing. So that's why I was curious about. So you're saying that that same kind of a similar type of thing is happening on TikTok as well,
Absolutely, yeah,
which would
yeah. And
that would make sense.
it sounds like TikTok's a little bit more receptive to it from
Yeah,
what.
right now because a lot of times when marketplaces are newer, they're a little more forgiving because
Yeah,
they know they need to get the flywheel going. So Amazon kind of looked the other way for the first few years, and then the FTC, some story came out, and they're like, "Oh, we're a public company, we gotta behave a little bit more." And so they tighten it, and then they keep tightening it a little bit as they don't need that anymore. They got enough people in the system, so that's probably TikTok is probably they're probably they know what's happening, and they
yeah,
may at some point crack down. But right now they're like, you know what, it's helping get the ball going, so we're cool with it as long as it doesn't get out of hand.
yeah. And I
Probably
think
something along
too,
those
it's
lines.
it's an interesting thing too because it's like it has to do partially with the buyer's trust of the platform, where like they're not they're not really. TikTok Shop is still new. And some people, they're fine making those purchases. A lot of people are a little bit more hesitant,
They go to
especially when a
Amazon and
product,
buy it.
yeah, exactly. And so, especially when a product has no sales, they're going to be like, no thanks. And so, and the fact that it's just so visible, like it's right there on the product page, when you
Yeah,
look at a product on TikTok Shop. And so, that's something that I think is it's important to do. And like for a while, I underestimated the importance of it. And I was like, oh, well, like, if we get enough of affiliates and we get them making content, surely some of them are going to drive a bunch of sales and stuff. But like, it'll be so much easier for the affiliates to get sales if you've already got sales
yeah,
and if there's already traction there. So something to spark it definitely really helps.
yeah. I know. I don't know if most of your clients also have a presence on Amazon. I know you have to be careful on like promoting. Go buy this on Amazon and TikTok stuff. There's certain things you can't do,
Yeah.
but a lot of them are just going to go naturally search for the brand on Amazon. And I know several brands that say they do okay on TikTok Shop and they get a lot of views, but as soon as they start running their TikTok videos or something goes viral, they see a huge uptick on Amazon. And I think there's been some studies that say about 60 to 70% of the sales that you make off of a TikTok campaign are actually not going to come on TikTok Shop. They're going to come on Amazon for that exact reason you said, the trust issue. And people know that if I buy it on Amazon, my credit card's already there. I don't have to. It's easy to return. And, I can depend on it showing up in a day or two.
You get your free shipping. Yeah.
You get your free shipping. You get
You're
all
on
that. And
Prime. Yeah.
yeah, but on TikTok Shop, the beauty is you can just. I've bought some things on TikTok Shop. As you're scrolling, something comes across that's of interest to you. You're like, "Ooh," you like it. You hit a couple buttons, uh, and boom, it's on its way to you, and you're back to scrolling instantly.
Yeah. It's
It's
remarkable.
very insular there. So you're not like having to bounce off and like, where was I in the scroll? Or you get, you get distracted. It's like, boom, boom, boom. Close that window. You're back right where you were, and keep scrolling on. That's the beauty of social shopping.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing like how well contained it is within the platform. And I guess to your point too, where it's like you have so much of this like the halo effect and people going to Amazon to make that purchase. And so then it's like you're the investment that you're making into TikTok, and that's why I talk about like top of funnel awareness, like, and it's so important because there's no other platform that you can do this with, right? Where you can invest in the platform and have it pay back, not just instant, like through TikTok Shop, but then also through Amazon and through your
Hmm.
site. Like, there's and to the scale that you can do it with TikTok Shop. Like, if you can have a video about your product that's just talking about how it solves a problem, go viral, reach millions of people, and inform millions of people who have now like they've entered the top of your funnel, right? Those impressions will convert. It might take a couple weeks. It might, they're only X amount are going to click on the product page and get retargeted and whatever. But like, you have this massive opportunity for just huge top of funnel awareness. And then, you know, from there, like if you're set up on Amazon, good, like, cause you're going to see that increase. So
lots of opportunity out there, man. You're in the right place at the right time. From pallets to buses. You still have the bus?
I do still have the bus.
Yeah, you still have the. All right, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You have to do the TikTok bus tour at some point.
Exactly. It's on there. It's on my page somewhere.
To get a sponsor to pay for a cross country TikTok tour with affiliates.
That sounds great to me.
Passing out samples all along the way and hosting little get-togethers for the cults, all along little cult parties, all the way along Route 66 or something like that. that would be cool.
Yeah,
that
cool. Sounds like a fun time.
Well, Tommy, if people want to reach out to cult content or to follow you or get in touch with you or something, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so on socials, if you just look up Tommy Lynch, look for the ginger, I should be there. Otherwise, email me, tommy@cultcontent.cc. Check out my website, cultcontent.cc, and yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. LinkedIn
awesome. Too. Always LinkedIn for business. That's right. Well, Tommy, I really appreciate you coming on today. This has been great. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
It's like your third podcast that you've done. How was it?
Dude, this was pretty good. This was my favorite one so far. You know,
all right.
It's time to get into it.
All right. It's going to be your favorite one of all time. You're going to do like 100 more as you become more popular and more famous. But you're going to just go, that AM PM one, that was like, man, that was cool. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Social commerce is playing a bigger and bigger role in selling online. As you can see in this world of AI and marketplaces, social commerce is an important element that you need to have in your mix if you're selling products, whether that's on Amazon or Walmart or your own shop or wherever it may be. You know, you don't have to be on Amazon or Walmart to do well on TikTok Shop. We just had on the Marketing Misfits podcast, Tammy Evolosky. She's doing 21 plus million a year on TikTok Shop with zero presence on Amazon. So if you want a different side of things, go check out that podcast as well. And I think you'll learn something. You can always learn something too in the $1 Billion Sellers newsletter. $billiondollarsellers.com is the website to actually go to. It's free every Monday and Thursday. You know what else is free? Is the AM/PM podcast. We'll be back again next Thursday with another awesome episode. So if you like this episode, feel free to like it, to subscribe to the channel, whether it's Apple Podcast or Spotify, or you're watching this on YouTube, and forward this to a friend if you think they'll get some value from it. Otherwise, I will see you again next week right here.